Hello and welcome to this decktech. Uh, I'm gonna talk about my deck idea for ARAGORN the Uniter. Wait a second, I'm gonna let this disappear. So, ARAGORN the Uniter is a new legendary creature from Lord of the Rings. It's a 4-color commander, everything except black, and it has 4 triggered abilities. The first one is whenever you cast a white spell, create a 1/1 white human soldier token. Second one is whenever you cast a blue spell, scry 2. Then whenever you cast a red spell, he deals 3 damage to target opponent. And whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. And as you might already see here or in the title, we are focusing on the third triggered ability. Whenever we cast a red spell, he deals 3 damage to target opponent. I am basically playing mono red, but not only. And I am playing a treasure theme, so I can cast him actually, and also, yeah, I need to be able to cast him. That's why I want to make a lot of treasures, and yeah, and I'm also my mana base is not only mono red. So as you can see, I am playing 12 mountains, which is quite a lot for a 4-color mana base, and maybe too much. I'm just not sure what lands I want to play because I kinda don't want this deck to be too expensive. It's already at almost 500 euros, which is too expensive, definitely. And I want your help to make this deck maybe a bit more budget friendly and also maybe a bit more consistent. I don't know how consistent it is. I haven't played it, but I feel like it's not that consistent. Um, so as you can see, every land that taps for a color, except for Otawara and Boseiju, is tapping for also red, I'd say. So like red green, red white, red green, red blue, multicolor, whatever. So yeah. I'm gonna start at the top with the creatures. I'm playing Birds of Paradise and Noble Hierarch as my mana dogs. Um, and right then, Burgi. I think most people know Burgi. It's a 3-mana legendary creature, god, 3/3. Doesn't have indestructible. And it says whenever you cast a spell, any spell, you add 1 red mana to your mana pool, and that mana doesn't, you don't lose that mana as phases and steps end this turn. So when you pass to your opponent, the mana goes away, but in your turn, it's there during each phase, no matter when you added it to your mana pool. And she says creatures you control can boast twice during each of your turns. Boast doesn't matter. It's like an ability. We don't play any boast. And this card has a backside that we might want to play sometime, but most of the time we want to play Burgi. The backside is Harnfell, Horn of Bounty, 5-mana legendary artifact. It has an activate ability. The cost of the activate ability is discarding a card from your hand. And then the ability exiles the top 2 card of your library, and you may play those cards this turn. So also not bad, but yeah, Burgi should be better than this deck. Then we're playing Captain Lenary Storm, 3-mana legendary 2/2 haste human pirate, and when he attacks, we create a treasure token. And whenever we sacrifice a treasure token, he gets +0/+0 until end of turn. Then we're playing Captain Replay Vance, 3-mana legendary 3/2 human pirate. Whenever you cast your 3rd spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Captain Replay Vance. Then it deals damage equal to its power to any target. The thing is, we are playing also green, so when we have Aragorn and Captain Replay Vance, and we're casting green spells, we can give her a +4/+4 until end of turn, and maybe more often than once, to then deal a lot of damage to any target. So it could also be an opponent's face. So I think this is a very good card, and also I am focusing on casting a lot of spells anyway. So yeah. Then next, Chandra's Incinerator, 6-mana 6/6 trample, but don't worry, this deck we won't cast it for 6. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the amount of non-combat damage dealt to our opponents. So when we deal 3 damage to our opponent once, it already costs just 3 mana. Then we could do it another a second time, and it costs 1 red mana, the 6/6 trample. But keep in mind, when you can't like put this on the stack, have this trigger deal 3 damage to an opponent, and then pay only 1 or 3 less. Like that, it's not how it works. But yeah, and the trigger ability of this creature is also really good. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, ARAGORN does that. Change's Incinerator deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker that player controls. So yeah, pretty good. Especially imagine casting this for 1 red, which isn't too hard, getting a 6/6 trample, which basically doubles the non-combat damage our commander is dealing. So yeah. Then we are playing Galazeth Prismari, 4 mana, 3/4 legendary creature Elder Dragon, flying. On ETB we create a treasure token, and artifacts we control have the ability to tap for any color, but we can only spend this mana to cast instant and sorcery spells, which is our focus. You'll see we are not playing too many. It's not like we are actually playing an is it spell slinger deck, but yeah. Then we're playing Goblin Anarchomancer, green and red spells we cast cost 1 less to cast. Pretty much all of our spells are either green or red or both. Then we're playing Goldspan Dragon. I think most people know it, but it's a 5 mana 4/4 dragon flying haste, and on attack when it attacks or when it becomes the target of a spell, we create a treasure token, and treasure token now have the ability to tap sacrifice at 2 mana of any one color instead of 1. Then we're playing Jolene. It's a 4 mana 2/2 legendary creature, human warrior, and whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, that attacking player creates a treasure token. And if we would create 1 or more treasure tokens, instead we create that many +1, and we could sacrifice 5 treasure tokens into her activate ability to put 5+1/+1 counter on her. I don't think we're gonna do that, but yeah. Noble Hierarch, I think you know it, or you can read it on your own. Then we're playing Old Narbonne, 7 mana, 7/7 legendary dragon flying. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens. Pretty busted. Then we're playing Pain Distributor. It's a rather new card. 3 mana, 2/3 Devil Menace. Whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, they create a treasure token. And whenever an artifact an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, Pain Distributor deals 1 damage to that player. Then we're playing Painter Servant, a card that's way too expensive. But yeah, might end up cutting it because it's not that good, but it's good. It's a 2 mana 1/3 artifact creature, and as it enters the battlefield, we choose a color. And all cards that aren't in play, and all spells, and all permanents are the chosen color in addition to the other types. So if we choose green, all our spells are also green. So whatever we cast, we get his last effect, which is kind of crazy. Because that moment, this is a burn deck, okay? Main strategy is burn. But with Painter Servant out, it basically becomes a beatdown deck that's also burning. So then the game should be over pretty soon. So yeah. Then we have Professional Facebreaker, 3 mana, 2/3 menace, a human warrior. Whenever 1 or more creatures we control deal combat damage to a player, we create a treasure token. And by sacrificing a treasure token, we can exile the top card of our library. And if we do, we may play the card this turn. Not if we do. We exile the top card of our library, and we may play the card this turn. Then we're playing Ragavan, also a card that's way too expensive and easy cut if we're going down the budget route, which I would like to Ragavan. I'm not gonna read it. Everyone knows it, right? Then we're playing Rush Me and Ragavan. Probably not everyone knows it. It's a 4 mana 2/4. Oh, by the way, when we cast this, we get 3 triggers from our commander. One when you cast a blue spell, and we get 3 triggers, not just 1, for those who didn't know. It's a 4 mana 2/4 legendary elf monkey. whenever you cast your first spell during each of your turns, so only in our turn this triggers, exile the top card of target opponent's library and create a treasure token. Then you may cast the exile card without paying its mana cost if it's a spell with mana value less than the number of artifacts you control. If you don't cast it this way, you may cast it this turn. Meaning, yeah, like when we control more when we control more artifacts than the exile card's mana value, we can cast it without paying its mana cost right away. But if we don't want to cast it right away, like we can actually choose, right? We can actually choose to just not cast it without paying its mana cost if we wanted to cast it later on, or if we don't want to cast it. And if we can't, then it also just, yeah. Then we're playing Runaway Steamkin. 2 mana, 1/1 elemental. Whenever we cast a red spell, if Runaway Steamkin has fewer than 3 +1/+1 counter, we put a +1/+1 counter on it. And by removing 3 +1/+1 counters from it, we add 3 red mana to our mana pool. Basically means that red spells we cast cost 1 red less to cast. Then we're playing Stormkin Artist, 4 mana, 2/2, Dwarf Shaman. It gets +1/+0 for each artifact we control, and whenever we cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, we create a treasure token. Then we're playing Tandem Lookout, 3 mana, 2/1 with Soulbound. Soulbound means that when it or another creature enters under our control, we can choose to like Soulbound them if we don't already Soulbound this with another creature. And if we do, both creatures have whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, draw a card. And it doesn't specify combat damage, so whenever our commander deals 3 damage to an opponent, we draw a card. So yeah, pretty good. Then we're playing Urabrask, 4 mana, legendary Phyrexian Praetor, 4/4 first strike. Whenever we cast an instant sorcery spell, he deals 1 damage to target opponent, and we add 1 red mana. And for 1 red mana, exile it and return it to the battlefield transformed. Activate only if you cast 3 or more instant and or sorceries this turn. And on the backside, it's a saga, and the first chapter is it deals 3 damage to target opponent and each creature that opponent controls. Then we create 3 treasure tokens. It's the second chapter, and the third chapter is crazy. Until end of turn, you may cast instant and sorcery spells from any graveyard. If a spell cast this way would be put into a graveyard, exile instead. Exile the great work, then return to the battlefield transformed. So it transforms, and then the turn it transforms, we also get to cast instant and sorceries from all graveyards, which means the possibility that we cast 3 or more instant sorceries that turn is so high that we just flip it the same turn again. So yeah, Urabrask is a pretty good card. Also pretty busted as a commander, but yeah. Then we're playing Vedrick Astral Archmage. Hell no. Vedrick Astral Archmage, 3 mana, legendary human wizard. He introduces the day-night thing. It's a 1/2 creature. Whenever day and night switches, like day becomes night or night becomes day, right? No, day becomes night. Yeah. We put a +1/+1 counter on it, and instant sorceries we cast cost X less to cast, where X is its power. Guys, if we cast a green spell and we give it +4/+4, all instant sorceries cost 5 less to cast, which makes them basically cost 1 red. So yeah. We are playing Xorn. It's a 3 mana, 3/2 elemental, and it says if we would create 1 or more treasure tokens, instead create those tokens plus an additional token instead. So yeah, just more treasures. Then we are playing 16 sorceries, and they're all red, and 2 of them are multicolored. So we're playing Blasphemous Act. It's a board wipe, deals 13 damage to each creature, 13, and it costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Guys, I think if we have Painter Servant, so all our spells are also green, we might actually be able to cast Blasphemous Act while dodging it. Like having our commander a 17 is like 3 spells. And I think this is possible with this deck. So we can get him to 21-21, basically board wipe, and then knock someone out. I think it's possible. Yeah. Then we're playing Breast Bounty, 7 mana sorcery. For each land you control, create a treasure token. Then we're playing Expressive Iteration. It's a 2 mana sorcery. Look at the top card. Look at the top 3 cards of your library and put one of them into your hand. One of them on the bottom of your library, and third one you exile the third one, and you may play the exile card this turn. Then we're playing Inspired Tinkering, 5 mana sorcery. Exile the top 3 cards from your library until end of turn. Until end of your next turn, you may play those cards, and we create 3 treasure tokens. Then we're playing Insult and Injury. It's for 3 mana sorcery. Damage can't be prevented this turn, and if a source we control would deal damage, it deals double that damage instead. And then we can cast the injury side from our graveyard, and the injury deals 2 damage to target creature and 2 damage to target player. So yeah. Then we're playing Jeska's Will. I think everyone knows Jeska's Will. It's kind of bonkers. Then we're playing Light Up the Stage, 3 mana sorcery with Spectacle. I don't know. It's an alternative casting cost that we can pay if an opponent lost life this turn. And the card says exile the top 2 cards of your library until end of your next turn. You may play those cards. It's so weird. I know that it says until end of your next turn, just with Inspired Tinkering, but when I try to say it to you, I forget it. I don't know. Then we're playing Mizzix Mastery. It's a 4 mana sorcery with Overload for 8, and it says exile target, which you replace with each when you pay the 8. Exile target card, that's an instant or sorcery from your graveyard. For each card exiled this way, copy it, and you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Exile Mizzix Mastery. I think this can be a finisher pretty easy, because we cast the copies. The copies are red spells, so when we cast them, our commander triggers. Imagine we cast this, commander trigger deals 3 damage, and then we exile like 7 instant and sorceries. Just 7. 7 is like 21 damage, and 7 isn't unrealistic. Like, holy shit, it's like 24 damage for 8 mana, plus all those 7 instant sorceries, whatever they do. Then we're playing Pirate's Pillage, 4 mana sorcery. As an additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card. Draw 2 cards, then create 2 treasure tokens. Then we're playing Reckless Endeavor, 7 mana sorcery. Roll 2d12 and choose 1 result. Reckless Endeavor deals damage equal to that result to each creature. Then create a number of treasure tokens equal to the other result. I think this we might end up playing this not as a board wipe, just as a sorcery that's creating like 5 treasure tokens or something, just to go up. Like, there will be times where we are playing like 3 mana for it, and then creating 5 treasure tokens, so we are able to cast something else. It's just maybe, I think in this deck it might become a ritual sometimes. So yeah, I'm looking out for that. Then we're playing Reconstruct History. It's a 4 mana sorcery. It says return up to 1 target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Return up to 1 enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Return up to 1 sorcery, instant, planeswalker. Yeah, basically every card type except for creature, when I'm reading it correctly. Right. From your graveyard to your hand. And it exiles itself. Sorcery. Then we're playing Seize the Spoils, 3 mana sorcery. As an additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card. Draw 2 cards, create a treasure token. Then we're playing Seize the Spotlight, 3 mana sorcery. Each opponent chooses Fame or Fortune. For each player who chose Fame, gain control of a creature that player controls until end of turn. You choose which creature. And if they chose Fortune, you draw a card and create a treasure token. Like for each player who chose Fortune. And for each player who chose Fame, you gain control of a creature they control. So yeah, if your opponents just have like a really important or whatever creature, they might let you draw a card and create a treasure token. And if not, yeah, who cares? Then we're playing Spiteful Repossession, 5 mana sorcery. Spiteful Repossession deals damage to each opponent who controls more lands than you equal to the difference. Then you create a number of treasure tokens equal to the damage dealt this way. I just because of that card, I thought to include more like double damage doubler, but currently I only have this damage doubler. Yeah, I think, but I think that the stack might lag on land drop sometimes, but it doesn't hurt the deck as much as other decks since we are creating treasures. So yeah, I think this might be a spell that is totally for free sometimes and just additional damage. Yeah. Then we're playing Strike It Rich, 1 mana sorcery with flashback for 3 that just says create a treasure token. And we're playing Visions of Ruin, 4 mana sorcery. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact. For each artifact sacrificed this way, create a treasure token, and has flashback for 10, but it reduces its flashback cost equal to the greatest mana value of a commander you own on the battlefield or on your command zone. So basically costs 4 less to cast from your graveyard just by itself without any additional cost reduction cards. So I think it's a good card. Then we're playing Big Score, 4 mana instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards, create 2 treasure tokens. Then we're playing Boros Charm, 2 mana instant. It either deals 4 damage to a player, or permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn, or target creature gains double strike, which might actually be a finisher. Like, yeah, right. Then we're playing Chaos Warp. I think everyone knows it. Then we're playing Counterflex, 3 mana, counter target spell, and it can't be countered, but you can overload it for 4, and then you counter each spell on the stack, and this can't be countered. It has to have the text, because otherwise it would counter itself, I guess? Yeah, I don't know. No, it couldn't counter itself, since then it would be resolving already, and yeah, right. Then we have Prismari Command, 3 mana instant, choose 2. One mode is deal 2 damage to any target. The next mode is draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Then target player creates a treasure token, and the fourth is destroy target artifact. For those of you who think that you can first scry 2 because of your commander, since it's a blue spell, and then choose to draw 2 cards and discard 2 or not, you're wrong. Before or the moment you put the spell on the stack, you have to choose your modes, and then your commander triggers and you scry 2. So yeah, we're playing Pyroblast, 1 mana, red instant, choose 1, either counter target spell if it's blue, or destroy target permanent if it's blue. The reason why this is better than Elemental Blast, I think is the other one called, is that you can target a non-blue spell, and you can target a non-blue permanent. Because, like the other one, is a complete dead card if no of your opponents is playing blue. God, my language is playing blue. But this, you can still cast it even though no one is playing blue. Oh. Okay, I'm sorry. Next, Reinterpret, 4 mana instant, counter target spell. You may cast a spell with equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. This basically is 2 spells in 1, which is good since we want to cast spells. Then we're playing Swords of Plowshare, the only white spell. Then we're playing Timo Battle Rage, 2 mana instant, target creature gains double strike until end of turn. If we control a creature with power 4 or greater, that creature also gains trample. Then we're playing T-Word's Trickery. Basically it's a red counter spell. I'm not going to read it, it's too complicated to whatever, but it's a good card. Then we're playing Unexpected Windfall, 4 mana instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card. and you draw 2 cards and create 2 treasure tokens. And then we are playing an MDFC. It's either a tapped land that taps for red, or a 3 mana instant. Put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your library. You don't reveal them. And then you draw that many +1. Then we're playing Arcane Signet and Cursed Mirror. Cursed Mirror is a 3 mana artifact that taps for red, but not the turn as it enters the battlefield. Like, you may, so you can have it enter the battlefield just as Cursed Mirror, and then it can tap for red. But if you have Cursed Mirror enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it has haste, then it doesn't have the mana ability until end of turn. Then we're playing Glittering Stockpile, 3 mana. It's an artifact treasure that taps for red, and whenever you do that, you put a counter on it, a stash counter. And instead of tapping it for red and putting a counter on it, you can instead tap it and sacrifice it to add X mana of any one color to your mana pool, where X is the number of stash counters on it. Then we're playing another non-budget card. It's Ruby Medallion, 2 mana artifact, and it says red spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, so pretty good in this deck. Then we're playing Swiftfoot Boots, I think everyone knows it. We're playing Curiosity. It's an aura that says enchanted creature. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, you draw a card. So pretty amazing in this deck. We're playing Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I think everyone knows this card. Oh, what? Isn't this version like mega expensive? Yeah, this is cheaper. Why do we have this? Why is this selected? Right. Okay. Keen Sense. It's basically a green copy of Curiosity. It really is. Then we have Ophidian Eye, 3 mana, aura with flash, and it also just says when enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, you draw a card. We're playing Reign of Riches, 5 mana, enchantment. On ETB, we create 2 treasure tokens, and whenever we cast our first spell, the first spell we cast each turn that mana from a treasure was spent to cast has Cascade. So it just casts another spell with lesser mana value that we reveal from the top of our library. So yeah, pretty good. Then we are playing Rhythm of the Wild, 3 mana enchantment. Creature spells we control can't be countered. And non-token creatures we control have Riot, so they either enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter or with haste. Then we're playing Snake Umbra, 3 mana aura. Enchanted creature has +1/+1 and has, whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, you draw a card. And it has totem armor. So if it would be destroyed, we instead remove all damage from it and destroy this aura. And then we're playing a new card from Lord of the Rings, Spiteful Banditry. X2 red on ETB, it deals X damage to each creature, and whenever one or more creatures from our opponents die, we create a treasure token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Then we're playing Sticky Fingers, 1 mana aura. Enchanted creature has Menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, we create a treasure token. And when enchanted creature dies, we draw a card. And we're playing another Lord of the Rings card, There and Back Again. 5 mana. First chapter, it's a saga. First chapter is up to 1 target creature can't block for as long as you control. There and Back Again. The ring tempts you. The second chapter is search your library for a mountain card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. And the third chapter is create Smaug, a legendary 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying and haste, and when this creature dies, create 14 treasure tokens. So yeah, that's the deck until now. I would like you to help, because we have 100 cards, yes, but I don't think this is the deck. I don't think it's... I feel like we can change a bit, but I don't have too much time currently. And yeah, I'd like you to help me with it. I feel like this could be a deck, a good performing deck, but I feel like I don't know. Maybe you just should go with 4 color value. Sorry, my my headset is turning itself off sometimes. So yeah, I don't want to play for color value. I don't want to play whatever. I think mono, or not mono red, but I think this really is the way I I want the deck to be, mono red or red burn. And I think the treasure theme is also important just to be able to cast him. But I feel like I'm do like my land base can be improved, and also the deck feels like it's supposed to be fast, but probably not gonna play that fast, like play out that fast. I'm playing too few, too less. I don't know. I'm playing not enough instants in my opinion, and also not enough sorceries. But I also don't know what to add. Like I could see cutting reconstruct history for Past in Flames or something like that. I probably will do that, yeah. Is it called Past in Flames? Where is it? Oh, it is, yeah. Past in Flames, 4 mana, each instant sorcery in your graveyard gains flip. Yeah, I think this is better than it's like removed. But now we could play Underworld Breach, but then I don't know if I told you, but I don't like playing a bunch of overperforming cards. Like this, I think this deck is one of the closest deck I'm playing that is like that. Like this is playing cards that I usually don't play. Um, like high value cards. Like I don't think Ragavan in Commander is a high value card. It doesn't provide high high value in my opinion. But like Old Narbonne, the Urabrask, definitely, and Birgi, those are cards. Or Jeska's Will. I don't play any Jeska's Will, even though I'm playing a lot of red. I have a lot of red decks or decks that are playing red. Yeah. Um. So yeah, and I think I'm playing Favor of the Mirror actually in one deck. Yeah, Shaman Tribal, because the token is a shaman, and this is also a shaman. I think that's the only. I'm not sure. I think it's the only deck I'm playing this. So, yeah. Right. So this is the deck. Let me know what you think about it. Let me, please let me know what cards you think would improve this deck. And I would urge you, please, I would be happy if you understand what I want this deck to do, and if you help me to improve the deck in that way, not in another way. I really want to have the deck doing this. And if you think this is near to perfect or just good as it is, then also let me know. So yeah, I hope um, this is an interesting take in your eyes. And yeah, I hope you had fun watching this. And I hope you had a nice day. And I wish you a nice day. Bye.